Got it. Got it. All right. So let's go around round table. Let's start with Fian. So Fian, how is your team building activities going on? Do you need any help? In fact, I have been discussing with Partha and also I've been discussing with few others. At some point of time, maybe in a week or two, we will bring in a dedicated mentor for each team, right? So just keep that in your mind. But for now, I want to make sure that you all understand and we understand if there is any challenges for you and for your team. So let's start with Fian. How is your team coming along and what's going on, Fian?
Yeah, so last week, Saturday, we had our first meeting and we had a comprehensive discussion on what we are trying to achieve. So we decided on a product name called
Okay.
Beyond Limits. That's what we're going to call it.
So what is it?
And
What is it? Interesting. What is it?
Beyond Limits, that's the name
Beyond
we,
limits.
yeah,
Wow.
that's the name we chose.
Okay.
So we talked about how the product is gonna look like and what we're gonna do. But at this stage, we are in the research process. We're just figuring out what other people have done in terms of skills analysis. So we're just trying to like search online and see what people have done and figure out a way to make our own products unique from what other people have done. And also, we are also trying to get more people to our group. At the moment, we're about five, including
Mhm.
myself. But if we
Mhm.
could get more people into the group, it would pretty much help us a lot. So
Sure, sure. Just remember, right? In now we are in the initial stage. You don't need a lot of people, right? When you are getting into a stage where you want to start developing the product, you need more people. So while you're researching it, I think 5, 6 member team is quite good, right, Fian? That's my recommendation. However, if you wanted to add more members into the team, you're welcome to do. Just my recommendation. So let me ask this question to
uh,
you. In So the beyond limits, what is that? What idea you have inside beyond limits right now? One idea, 3 ideas, 5 ideas? How many you have?
so uh, the the idea behind the whole project, which is like the idea behind the skills analysis, is so we talked about it and decided that, oh, this is how it's going to look like. For example, somebody is currently working in a particular skill and wants to transition from maybe the person is a software developer or a software engineer. The person wants to eventually become a solutions architect or product manager. So that's the whole idea behind the skills analysis, like using the product to like check how do I transition from a software engineer to a solutions architect. So that's how the product is going to look like, and that's what we discussed last week Saturday. So and also about the more team members, we're just trying to put heads together because more heads, more putting more heads together is better than the few people that we have. But I understand we're in the initial stages. When we get to the eventual development stage, I feel like we'll still get more people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yes.
Okay, got it, got it. Perfect. I think you are on the right direction. So let's give a floor for Greg. So you don't. So the only challenge that I see is Finn. You are telling me for your team is um, the member, right?
Yeah. So because it was
Okay, okay, got it. All right. So there is no other challenges at this point of time from your point of view, you see, correct?
no challenge at this point
Okay,
in time.
okay, okay. Good, good, good. Let's go to the Greg. Greg, floor to you.
Okay, thanks, Skyler. So we had a meeting last week. Well, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah, our last meeting we talked about doing some research about our project, which is labor market, trying to understand first of all who our customers are going to be. So once we can get the idea of who our customers to be, we have some ideas, but we're going to be brainstorm over it further. So once we understand who our customers are, we can start building a project around them, because we can't build the projects without knowing how to use it or who the end users are. So that is the first research we're doing. Once we have that, we can start defining our requirements and trying to know the scope that we are going to focus on. So that is just what we're doing.
Wow, this is really good. And any particular challenges that you have right now, Greg, that we should know?
For challenges, okay. Initially we had some, like I think 7 of us on the team, but I noticed that it's just 4 of us that attends our weekly meeting. Others have not been showing up.
Okay, so this is a challenge that that requires mindset change and mindset coaching, right? So the people do not show up because of 2 reasons, right? So one reason is the schedule that was planned, right? They had some other plans or arrangement, and because of that they could not join. That is the one reason, and the second reason is people are not serious about it. So if it is a second reason, then it basically means it's the process of helping the people to change the mindset to become serious, right? So as a leader, Greg, right, you have to coach the team and lead by example to really help them to change the mindset. So this is not an easy thing to do, but trust me, that's the only way that you can succeed, right? So now if the person doesn't change the mindset, and you see the same thing happening for next 3 to 5 sessions, then you can basically decide that person, in spite of putting your effort to change the mind, maybe he's not the right person for your team, right? So normally as a leader, you have to give time to coach people, to help them understand and give them opportunity to grab. But in over the period of time, if you still see there is no results, then you should conclude, okay, this person is not the right person for my team, and you should look for alternative and you should move on. Right? One of the skill of the leadership is this, right? You have to give time, and after that you have to move on. You cannot get sad, right? People will come and go. This is the reality of life, right? So that when you start a company, or when you do something, or when you do build a team or whatever, okay, Greg,
Yep.
the people will come and people will go. It is normal. First thing a leader has to develop in his skill set is that resistance, right? And
Yep.
absorbance, right? These are all some of the skills the leader has to develop. He has to accept the fact that people will come and go, and he has to accept the fact that people are not serious. So he as a leader has to coach them to become serious, and he has to accept the fact that if people don't become serious, I have to be prepared to have a backup.
Yep.
Right? So these are all some of the skills that you need to develop, and if you do this and continuously have a backup plan, then you can run the ship, right? It's as simple as that, right? When you're going for the long drive, probably you carry some gas with you, right? And when there is no gas station, so after some time you refill the gas and drive, refill the gas and drive, right? So, or in between, when you find a gas station, take it and store it and then go, right? So this is the life. Okay, so you have to, as a leader, have to develop the skills to move on. Otherwise, things will not move on and it will stop, right?
Yep.
And you should never let it stop as a leader. This is the skill I wanted you to develop. So don't get worried about people not joining. Call them, talk to them, and ask them why they are not joining. And if there is a first reason that they didn't join because the conflict was there, then next time make sure you organize the meeting where you get a consent from everyone, and then you organize the meeting. And then you see if the same thing happens, then call them and try to coach them. Hey, this is very critical thing that we are learning together. You never know, we might start a company together and grow too, right? So you have to help them to educate and see the benefit of this from the point of view of learning and outcome or whatever. Then finally, you also have to always start creating the backup plan to make sure that you're able to move forward. So these are the 3 advice that I'll give you, Greg.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other challenges for you?
Challenges. Another challenge that I think you can help all the team leaders with is actually understanding the big picture. If we can get that big picture, we can start aligning our teams and seeing that we can, strive forward. Yep.
Correct. And it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight, right? So it's going to take time from the point of view of developing the mindset towards that. All right. So I'll talk a little bit about that later today. And then now let's move on. Before going to Sandra, I just wanted to check on anyone in call today joined newly or the first time joined this particular program. If yes, you can raise the hands. So there is a raise hand icon there. So you can raise the hand if anyone has joined this program for the first time. Okay, no, that's good. Now the second question I have is raise the hand if anyone is not part of any team. Guys, you need to raise the hand. I know exactly who is not part of some teams. So Pankaj, hey Pankaj, I pushed you to join today. I saw you online. Thank you for joining. I was missing
No,
you for a while.
Kader, actually, I missed the initial sessions because of some reason. So I was not attended the sessions where team formed. So I was chatting with the leaders and then trying to involve in one of the team.
Good, good, good. Anyone else here is not part of the team?
Hi, this is Sean, and I'm not part of any team either. But unfortunately, I'm attending this with my cell phone, so I could not raise my hand. But I was
So are you?
waiting to get a
Is
chance
this
to
your
speak.
first time you're joining, or?
I was there, I guess, last week on Saturday.
Yes, but not on this program, right? This is a different program.
Yes, not in this program. So sorry, I'm a bit confused. I thought it is for the same program.
No, Sean. So what is your skill set?
My skill set is .NET, databases, and engineering.
Okay, okay. So we have like 3 programs ongoing, right? One is Saturday Codathon, cloud computing. Wednesday is Tavan test automation. Friday, today, 6 to 7, we do a program called Testoper projects. And here we build a team and we build something and people become entrepreneur and things like that, right? So that's what we do. So if you're interested, you're welcome to go to Eventbrite, register and join.
Thank you. I joined this program last week, and this is my second time. And last week you told me if I go to Teams, I will find more information.
Yeah.
So,
okay. So you attended this program. Sorry.
Yeah,
Maybe I.
sorry,
Okay.
my bad. Last Friday I was in this program.
Okay. All right. So again, can you guys raise your hands? Who is still okay? I saw Pankaj. Pankaj. Just make sure Sandra, Fian, and Greg Pankaj is available. So you can grab any one of you into any one of the team. All the very best. And Sean, you are also not part of any team, but are you interested to continue on this program, Sean? That's my question.
Yes, I am interested to continue on this program. Yes.
Awesome. So Sean is also available. Pankaj is available. So who else is available, not part of the team, please? Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to ask Fian, Greg, and Sandra just to make a note of this name. And if anyone is not part of the team, just go behind them. Now, there is one person that I know who is Partha. So I wanted to provide Partha's advice as a mentor. Okay. And I'm also going to find additional mentors to join us. To help each team, right? To start with, I wanted to bring one mentor per team. And then in future, what we will do is we'll bring in more mentors per team as you evolve. Right now, you don't need more mentors. right? So one mentor, one per team is good. So I'll try to do that in next 2 to 3 weeks. Partha is one of the mentor. So I will leave all 3 leaders to reach out to Partha and see which team Partha would be interested to mentor and have him join, please. Okay. Is that okay? Finn, Greg, Sandra, clear?
Sure.
Yeah, it's okay.
Perfect.
Yes, fine.
So Partha is our first mentor, okay? And then I will bring in additional mentors as things evolve. So I look at the mutual benefit. Look at the mutual what do you call match, right? And I'm sure one of the teams will grab Partha as a dedicated mentor. The idea is I wanted to have a dedicated mentor per team, right? Not a floating mentor at this point of time. All right, so good. So now let's go to Sandra. Sandra, how is your team going on? Any challenges or anything from your end?
Hi, Carter. Hi, everyone. The last week, we defined the name of the team and the project. And this week, we had the challenge to do a research about AI. And yesterday, we have our meeting. So we were discussing about the algorithms that we could use and defining the steps that we are going to do in order to develop the project. So,
what is the name of your project, Sandra?
the name of the project is Skills Matching.
Okay.
And the name of the team is Artificial Squad. Yesterday, we defined the survey that we want to share with other people.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be an input for our research, and it will help us to define our technical solution.
Got it. Got it.
And the requirement also.
Got it. Got it. Good going. Good going. So this is what we will do, team, right? So continue on this process. You are on the right direction. And Pankaj wants to join the team. Make sure, Pankaj, you join some team, and Partha will join as a mentor. You're going on the right direction. So what we will do is once you guys start researching and things like that, we will, we will do some marketing to get more developers. We will identify. So you all have to, as a leaders, have to identify what exactly you need. Then we will go after that and try to get that for our team, right? It could be a resource, it could be a mentor, it could be the tool, it could be anything, right? You as a leader have to start thinking. Think like you are a CEO, right? Together with your team. Start going one step after another. Identify what is required and then go after what is required to get it. And we together as a team here, we will facilitate whatever that you need. We will go after and get it. You want someone to train you about some topic, we will go and get it for you. So we will provide whatever that you need together. We will find whatever that you need to make this successful throughout the year. But you have to plan what do you need as things evolve. Okay, good. So now the last point that I would like to share before we start to learn something today is make sure that whenever you are forming the team, right, make sure that at this point of time, as a leader, don't think too far. See, some of the time, what mistake that we do is we don't even have finalized the idea, but we will talk about which cloud we need to go and install and how we need to install. And we will start thinking about technically what programming language I need to. So it's good to think longer term, but don't think too longer term and go one step at a time. That's my kind request, right? And the more time that you spend now is better to frame the idea and what you wanted to do. Then when you're actually doing it, it would not take a lot of time. This is what it is, right? When you look at any company, when you look at the complete product life cycle of any company, you would actually see that planning takes almost like 40% of the time. And then actual development takes only 30% of the time from the design and implementation. Then your launch takes and the post-launch takes rest of the time. So most of the time people try to spend time on planning. This is the reality. Okay, so try to do a great planning and make sure that you do it right. Now, the second, the last point tied to that is last week we introduced the skill core from IBM. And I trust you all have registered to that skill core, and did you find it useful? If you find it useful, you can raise your hands, please. Good. So only 3 people found it useful. It basically means 2 things. One is rest of you are not registered based on the instructions I provided, or you really registered it, you looked at it, and you feel not interested. Okay, so let's make sure that like next time when we basically look at it, next time we have everyone registered and you guys start developing some skills around whatever is available for us. So having said that, let's get started on learning something new today. Are you guys ready? Hello.
Yes,
Are you guys
of
ready?
course.
Okay, so today I'm going to ask a lot of questions to you guys rather than me speaking. Okay, so that's what is going to happen today. All right, so just a refresher of the previous sessions, right? We talked about different names, terms, so that we all understand cat means cat together, right? And we started with understanding what is a product, what is product line, what is product portfolio, what are all the different types of services, solutions, and platform, how does it all differ? And we started learning about the management, what is a product management, what is a product manager. Why we were learning all these things is because remember, you are in the initial stage now. You don't need to learn today coding, theoretically speaking. Okay, so on practical speaking, yeah, you have to learn coding. That's why we gave you the skill core and for you to go and learn stuff whatever that you need. But on theoretically speaking, at this stage of time, right, you need to really understand, end of the day you're going to build the product, so you need to understand what all is required at a very high level picture to build a product. That's what you need to understand. And in order for you to understand that, I have been training in last of the in the previous sessions certain key terms, and that's what we did. Okay, so one of the key terms that we discussed was a product management and product manager. This I wanted to stress upon very much even today. See, you as a team are building a product. Okay, so theoretically speaking, you are a product manager, meaning you are a CEO of your organization, right? So meaning you are supposed to manage end-to-end general management of your organization. Meaning Greg, Finn, and Sandra, you have to develop a lot of skills that are required you to be as a product manager. In other words, mini CEO. In other words, general manager. There are a number of skills that you need to develop, but today the test project is mainly focused on helping you guys technically and building the product technically. Maybe we don't have to focus on, we will touch upon, but we will not touch upon, or we will not in detail study certain aspects like financial planning, those kind of things. I will not teach you in details, but then I will let you know what it is and what are the different things that you need to know at a very high level. But there are certain areas that I will teach in detail because Testoper project as such requires those details to be known. And I was really very, very happy to know some of the words that I heard from Greg, Finn, and Sandra, especially about the surveys. Those are all some of the things that you need to anyways learn during the concept phase. So I was very happy to see already team is moving forward with such kind of activities. So now you understand why I was training these things, because you all as a team, you as a leader and you all as a team have to start thinking like a CEOs, because you're building a product. A product is not built by a project manager. A product is not built by a developer. A product is not built by a tester. A product is not built by a DevOps person. A product is built by a product manager, a mini CEO, a general manager. and there are people in work along with him to do, like some testers will work, some developers will work, some project managers will work, right? Some designers will work to in different areas to make that product realize, right? But the product managers is not a developer, so you have to be having that thin line of difference in your mind, and that's the only way you can take one step at a time. All right, good. So now, last time we talked about, okay, now you understood what is a product manager, right? And what is mini CEO and general manager. And last week we talked about product management life cycle. And at a very high level, we talked about three groups. The first one is the product planning. And this is where you are all right now today. So we talked about concept, feasibility, and definition. So let me ask a question here. So last week we talked about it. So what does a concept mean? Anyone who remembers last week can answer. Unmute and answer, please.
An idea.
Hmm?
Concepts could be an idea.
Idea that you want to develop. That's good. Anyone else? Just relate it. You have to speak out, right? We have this is not a training session, right? Testoper project is a learning session that we are doing together, so we can build the product together, right? So feel free to ask questions and share your thoughts. It's important that we also learn from you. So what is the concept?
I think concept can be a guideline or a theme on which we are planning to develop something.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, concept is an idea for either developing something or for a market opportunity that you see, or a software niche product that you could develop. So it's basically a collection of ideas that come out of probably a brainstorming session.
Okay, that's correct. All inputs are correct. Let's move on to the next one. Feasibility. What is a feasibility, and what's the difference between the concept and feasibility? Anyone?
I would say concept is still very new, very abstract. We don't know how it's going to happen. And feasibility is maybe how it's going to be possible.
Correct. And you don't go to the feasibility phase until you finalize and make a decision at the concept phase, go or no go. That's the most important thing, right? And you have an idea in the concept phase, and you all have to be convinced of that idea, and you have to buy in that idea, right? So now you have an idea you can develop for two reasons, right? One thing is you can develop for just learning purpose. It's okay, you can develop any idea. But if you are developing an idea for becoming an entrepreneur and starting a company, then it's a different ball game altogether, right? So it's very important that you do a lot of analysis during the concept phase and decide go or no go to move into the feasibility phase. Okay. Now, what is the definition phase? What's the difference between the feasibility and definition? Anyone?
So when we have a feasibility study, we validate which concept is feasible to be turned into a product. So it's a how to say, it's a better concept, or it's a concept which is feasible.
Okay, that's good. Anyone else?
It's when you have a clear concept about what you are going to develop.
Okay, all right. So we heard from multiple people, but we have to pin down something so we all can remember, right? So this is what we talked about. In the concept phase, what happens is ideas are generated and screened. So you have number of ideas, right? When you come together as a four or five people, like for example, take Elon Musk, right? When he comes together, they are going to talk about thousands of ideas, new products, existing product enhancements, right? In any company, you're going to have thousands and thousands of ideas to be built. So you have to generate the ideas, and the idea generation has to be a continuous process. and you have to screen the idea. What is the bang for the money, right? What is it going to give you the maximum impact, maximum outcome? So the idea has to be screened, and an opportunity has to be derived out of that. So that's what the concept phase. In the concept phase, what you normally do is you bring in thousands of idea, you screen the idea, and you pick the idea that you wanted to go behind, and you identify, is there a real opportunity for that idea? That is what is the concept phase. Okay, so now what is an opportunity means, right? We will talk about it after, but just to understand an opportunity means that, okay, I have an idea. If I do this, definitely it is going to give something for me. I'm going to gain something out of that by taking this idea. I can turn them into an opportunity for me. So that is what is the concept phase. So you generate the idea, screen the idea, and then you will have to be convinced that it is an opportunity that you wanted to move forward. And once you all as a team, right, together are convinced to move forward, then you jump into the feasibility stage. So here what you do is you qualify it in a greater detail, like how much resources that I need, how much money do I need, is there a technology? Like if you remember, I was telling you last session, Avatar was the script was written many years ago, but it could not be pictured because the technology was not there. So is the technology there, whatever that you wanted to build? So you have to start looking at the ideas, whatever the ideas that you have, right, that you screened, you have to qualify that idea into a little bit more greater detail. And when you are trying to do that, you not only do it from the point of view of technical and technology aspect, but you also do it from the point of view of business aspect. Now, when you talk about this business, let me ask you this question. What are all the things that you need to consider? Anyone? What are all the things that you need to analyze to really
Resources,
understand?
the budget.
Sorry, go ahead.
Resources and budget and the time frame.
That is project, right? But in the business case, at this level, right? Because at this level, you don't have a business requirement, nothing, right? So you can't really do. But at this level, right? Remember,
you have to consider whether there's a demand for it.
Yeah, demand. Anyone else? Any other inputs? Think. Nothing is wrong, nothing is right. You have to speak.
Resources.
Resources. Okay.
You need to decide upon what is a minimum viable product.
Yeah. That could be in the defined phase, Partha. Okay, let me give you an example. So, see, these are all some of the terms that you need to remember, right? When you are doing the feasibility analysis, you need to look at, first of all, technology. Is the technology is available for you to do this? Is the technical things that are available for you to do this? What is the difference between technical and technology? Technicals are all the skills that you have, right? Like C, C++, tools, frameworks, and all those kind of things. That's all technical. Technology is like AI, IoT, and those kind of things. You remember that we talked about, right? So remember, technology analysis you need to do. And then you have to look at competitors. You have to look at market. And you have to segment who exactly, Greg or Fian was telling, who exactly are going to be your customers. Competition, market, and sometimes you also need to look at government, legal aspect. Right? So these are all some of the things. I can go on and on, but you get the message. So a business case should comprise of looking at from the point of view of market, looking at from the point of view of competition, technology, technical, legal, many other aspects before you build something, right? And then you have to come up with some kind of a high level picture. Hey, you know what? I need to invest $1,000, but I'm going to get $1,000 in 3 years. My return on investment is in 3 years. Those are finance related stuff. But you also have to look at all of them. But in this Testoper project, we don't have to focus on all these things. It again depends on each individual team. If some of your team members really wanted to become an entrepreneur, then you need to really look at all these aspects. But if you're just doing this project to learn and give back to the community, then certain aspects that you can skip. But in general, the feasibility is nothing but looking at from all these perspectives: competition, technology, technical, market, legal aspects. These are some of the things that you need to always look at. Okay, so that's feasibility. Now moving on to the third phase. Now, once after you did the feasibility and you qualified and you think that, yeah, you know, whatever the idea that I have, I'm convinced that there are many things that are out there that I can use them to really do this idea. And I have a solid business case and it's going to be profitable. And I have pitched it in my current company if I'm an entrepreneur, or I pitched it to a third party angel when I am a angel or a VCs, you know, if I'm starting my own company, and they are convinced, and they give you the money, right, or whatever. So then you get into the phase, next phase, which is the definition phase. Okay, there's a spelling mistake here. So this is where you actually define the product and business requirement. This is where, so that the next phase you can get into the software development phase, where you can start writing down the high level design, low level design, and all those kind of things. So you can think of something like this. If you're already working in some company, you might know this. So what happens is, in the agile process, you have the user stories, right? So the first top one is if the business requirement comes, and then business requirement is turned into a user stories, right? So the business requirement is what you have to think falls inside this category of definition. Okay, so you have to start writing the actual product requirements. So the product requirements is different from the project or high level designs and things like that. So the product requirements, you will start writing it here. And you also keep updating your business case and everything. So this is where you define your product requirements. Most of the time in the new product planning phase is where all the mini CEOs, general managers, they do lots and lots of work, right? You know, maybe sometimes architects get involved, but no software developers, no testers, no DevOps, and all these people, they don't normally get involved. And in this stage, mostly the business people and the architects get involved and define most of the things. Okay, now let's move on to the next one, new product introduction. So now you have an idea, you understood it is feasible to do, and you have defined the product requirements. Okay, then now you can move into a phase of software development, right? When you move into a phase of software development, there are two things, right? One is the development phase, another one is the launch phase. So here, after the product definition is done, detailed budgets is developed, and you know how many resources are required and all those kind of things. Then what you can do is, and you have an approval from your management, or you have a approval to yourself, you have a resource, or you have identified the requirement you're going behind to get the resource or whatever. So once you have everything ready, then you get into this development phase. So in this phase only, you start creating projects, right? You sub-projects, programs, projects, sub-projects. See, so far, whatever we discussed, we all discussed about the product management. Now, inside the development, what happens is you will start talking about the project management. So everything that, you know, you start defining different projects, different scopes, different tasks within it, subtasks, right? Work level, work detail. So all those project management things and all comes into here. And you start defining the high level design, low level design, and then you start, you know, in fact, like Partha mentioned, right? What the MVP will be available as a baseline product requirement. So you take that and you turn them into the actual development requirements, and you do the mapping to the business requirements, product requirements, and then start, you know, assigning to the team and start developing it. And after developing it, start testing it, and then put it in the cloud and make sure everything is good. So all those things happens during the development phase. from the point of view of architecting, designing, documenting, software development, testing, and DevOps, CI/CD, everything happens during this development phase. So after you finish doing it, and if you are all convinced that the product minimum viable product you have, then you go and deploy it, and that's nothing but your launch. So you actually launch this so that you can take the product to your customer hands. If you're going to launch it in the cloud as a SaaS, you're going to go tell your customers to log in, create a login password and start using the product. If you have a tangible product, you put it in some retail store, people will come and buy it and go, or you go directly go and sell, or you whatever. Right, so that's the launch phase. There are different types of launches that you can do. We will talk about it as we continue moving forward. So that is the product introduction. So product planning is all about planning, right? And product introduction is all about development and launching the product so you can take the product to the customer hands. Then finally, the last thing is the product post-launch product management. So it's not that once you launch the product, it's all done. It never happens like that. Okay, so what happens? You just have done the minimum viable product. So after launching, you might figure out after 50 customers, your product becomes so slow. And the customer experience, customer journey to use your product is very poor. You might have done some good work, right? But it happens for many variables. So you have to continue. After launching, it's not that you're done, the money is going to come. No, actually, the whole work starts only after that, right? So you have to monitor your product. You have to understand who is using your product. You have to do surveys or whatever, right? Or build in KPIs, whatever that you need to track to understand, okay, is it only age of 13 to 15 is using, or who is using more my product? And then start refining your positioning, refining your features, refining your MVP, and then continue evolving your product. Very, very important, right? Optimizing the performance and readjusting the positioning and the marketing, everything that you need to make sure, right? The post-launch management is very, very critical. Strategic and tactical management that you do. Tactical management example is understand how the customers is using their experience, and can I provide whatever that I have developed as an MVP in a way that can generate better experience for the end customer, right? That is the optimizing the performance. Then you can also look at, okay, the customer is using this, but he actually needs some additional data which I'm not providing, and you discovered that, then it becomes like a new feature in your product development, right? So again, all the way that new feature goes back to the new product planning, and you put all those features and then start doing the business case and everything. It's very important. Just think about it. Maybe you have like 1,000 customers. Okay, there's one customer who needs one particular feature. Okay, and 999 customers don't want to use that feature. Will you develop that feature? The answer is no. Because you can't make money out of that. You're not going to have an impact. So you need to identify the features, add-on features on top of your MVP product that is going to, you have to be convinced, and that's going to be used by multiple people. This is another mistake a lot of people do. They come back and they have some budget, they select some features and they start doing it without even realizing it's actually creating an impact to the end customer that you are serving. And what happens? They burn all the money, and end customers do not get any added value on top of the MVP. The whole business goes down, the whole thing goes down. And then you end up in looking at a situation where you have no money to continue running this project. So it's very, very critical. Even a small additional feature that you develop, you have to go through this process of concept, feasibility, and definition. Every small thing you have to go through. And many times people do a mistake is they say, find this problem, let's go and fix it without analyzing it. And that is, trust me, is not good at all. Okay. So post-launch management is very, very critical. You have to do strategic and tactical management of multiple things. Make sure existing thing, whatever you have delivered, is being used as it is being intended to use, as it is intended to provide the customer experience. That's the first thing you need to make sure as a tactical management. And the second thing is, as a strategic management, you need to continuously analyze and make sure that additional features are added throughout again in this process. And you got to be very careful with that. And you got to, the word here, blocking and tackling. See, a lot of people will be happy if you say yes. Think about it. You have kids, right? Those who have kids or friends, if they ask you something, if you say yes, they are always happy. If you say no, either they get into defense mode or they are unhappy. But as a leader, do you want it to keep people happy or unhappy? This is a question. As a leader, do you guys believe you have to keep people happy or unhappy? What is the answer?
Happy.
Anyone else?
We should try to keep as many happy as we can, because we can't keep everyone happy, but most of them should be happy.
Okay. Anyone else?
Try to find the right mix between those you want to make happy, and you cannot build all the features for customers, right? So you just try to find a mix,
Maybe
the right
both.
mix to make the people happy.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason I asked this question was intentional, right? It's not about happy or unhappy, right? It's also not about success or failure. All these things are related, but of course you need to have a target to march towards that success. So what you define, right? What is important here is, as a leader, you are able to get a buy-in collectively with your team. That is the most important thing. If you are going to block, then you should be able to convince your team to accept why you are blocking this. So they will be unhappy, but if they are convinced that what you said no is the right thing to do, then they are happy. So as a leader, what's important is not making people happy or not making people unhappy. What is important is making sure that everybody, all the stakeholders around, are having a buy-in in the decisions that you are taking with the facts and figures, so they are convinced. You cannot relatively speak. A lot of people do a mistake, right? If you ask some question to someone, they will say, hey, this could be because of this reason, this could be because of that reason. Hey, no, that. Don't speak relatively without data points and thorough analysis. So if you are doing a blocking, you better have all the homework done to justify why you are blocking. Don't just block it for the reason for blocking. Right? So that's the point I wanted you guys to remember. Always do a homework before you say no to someone else. So even though you say no, he is still happy, because you are able to convince him why you are saying no. Okay, so that's one tip for you guys today. Now you have to continuously audit the launch. See, now you have a business case, right? And business case, one of the item in the business case is, after you launch your program, your product, in next 6 months, probably you had a target of 1,000 people signing in, and each people paying you X amount of money, right? If you're doing an entrepreneurship business, if you're not, then at least you need 1,000 people signing in. Then you need to continuously audit the result after the launch. Are you in track to the initial plan? If you are not in track to the initial plan, what do you have to do to make it profitable or achieve what target that you have? So those are all some of the things are very critical post-launch. Post-launch is the most tough thing to do. It's easy to develop a product. A lot of people think, right, developing a product and releasing a product is difficult. No, you have an idea, go to hackathon. People develop products in 8 hours and they go to market. Developing a product and creating an MVP is not a big thing. As long as you have a skills, tools, techniques, you can build it. But the most difficult thing is the product planning and the post-launch product management. These two are the most complex thing for any company to be successful. You look at any company. Do you know what is the maximum? Maybe this is an assignment that I'm going to give you guys. Why don't you go and research in a company for the R&D, right? What is the maximum investment a company does on R&D department? R&D is responsible for new product introduction, right? Which includes software developers, testers, and operations, DevOps, and all those kind of guys. So go and research. And in our next Friday meeting, I wanted you to really tell me in a company, how much percentage of the money that they make is invested in R&D. And if you can find out how much percentage is actually invested in all other areas, in other words, all other business operations areas. You remember what I was telling you in this? It is called as a business operations. Business operations mean different departments, right? So go and find out, research Google and understand how much money is spent on all these different departments. And then come back and tell me in our next Friday meeting. It's very, very important. And I wanted to a little bit discuss around that. So far, so good. Is it all clear? Do you have any questions? All good?
Yes,
Yes,
Kader.
no?
So,
Okay. Perfect. Tip of the day. The leadership. I wanted to make sure that there are certain things that are very important. You have to be a strong leader, Greg, Finn. See, first of all, making a decision to become a leader of a team itself is a hard decision, tough thing to do. Now you have made your decision. Maybe you have skill, maybe you don't have skill. Right? But what's important is you develop that skill to become a leader. If you become a leader, you can run the show. Hey, just to give you a perspective, right? It's not to boast myself, but I'll tell you honestly, when we wanted to give back selflessly, we wanted to start this Testoper community. When it was started, I was the one person. Today, we are more than 35 volunteers are running this show together. Right? I'm just giving a practical example of Testoper community. Likewise, in my day job, in the other engagements that I had, or the other people that I followed, my mentors and everyone, they had that long leadership skill. Leadership skill is not about you're good in project management, you're good in coding, you're good in testing, you're good in no. Leadership skill is all about making things done. And it's very important if you develop that leadership skill, trust me, everyone in the team and also the current leaders, Finn, Greg, and Sandra, you will become successful in delivering this project. You will find where the gaps are. You will be bold enough if the people leaves you and go, you don't care and you bring in additional people. But what is more important is you keep your end goal and you walk on that end goal and you make it happen. So the leadership quality is very, very important. So in every session, I'll try to give you guys some tip. And today's session, I wanted to give a tip. The tip of the day is, anyone can guess?
How to become a good leader?
Yeah, so there's one number of things that you need to learn to become a leader, which I will train you guys. And because I know if I train you on the leadership skill, you will develop the perseverance and you will make this project successful for yourself. Right? This will definitely happen. All the leaders today and also all the people who are working together with the leaders will definitely make it happen. All right, so let's continue. Probably this is something that you would not have expected it, but it is a most critical thing. This is the tip I wanted to give you guys today. Stay calm even when your hair is on fire. Guys, this is a funny thing, but trust me, this has got a lot of significance in what you're doing.
Rather, I want to say that this is the best quality of a leader. If the leader cannot be calm and like be hyper and scold at the team, then team will never cooperate with the leader. So yeah, I believe this is the best quality.
One of the best quality that is required. Right? So always remember this, stay calm even when your hair is on fire. Remember this word. Let me ask one question, right? When your hair is on fire, what do you think that you guys have to do?
Take deep breath.
Take a deep breath. Awesome. What else?
Stay calm, take a deep breath, and just quickly think how you can solve this situation, like go find the water nearby somewhere, like where you can find the water as early as possible.
That's a good one.
Put the fire out.
Just
Put
put your
the
head
fire
in
out.
water.
Yeah, yeah. Just put the water on, or put some beer on top of it.
Put your head in water straight.
Get rid of the hair.
Get rid of the hair. Yeah, I mean you don't have to. It will anyways go away. All right.
I would say ask the team for help too. So maybe sometimes when we're frustrated, we can say, "What do you guys think? This is what we're having." They might come up with really good suggestions.
Yes, that's team. Always, always we, not I. A person who is I fails. The person who is we always succeeds. That was a good one. Anything else?
I think we're all leaders in our teams. So to make this project work, we should not think like team members. We should think that we are the leaders trying to make the project work.
Yes. Everyone in the team is a leader. Even though I am referring Greg, Sandra, and Fane, that's because they put themselves in front of the fire, right? But others have joined the team, but you have not put yourselves in front of the fire. But you are welcome to put yourself in front of the fire and do the leadership qualities. It's very critical. See, if you want to learn a programming language, you can open a book, learn it in a week, and you can look at the book and do stuff. Trust me. That is what is happening every day. New things are coming. People are learning new things, right? A person who is like 20 years of experience, if he's put into AI, it's something new for him. He's also going to start learning like the same as you are learning. But the difference is he would be able to see the big picture because he has 20 years of experience than you, because you don't have that big picture. That's the only difference, right? But otherwise, more or less, everyone is starting from the base. Right, so you haven't lost anything on the technical side. It's easy to do. Anyways, so it's 7-2. I will give you some tips. Whenever your hair is on fire, try to do this. First thing is stay calm. Someone told already. Second thing is process the signals around you. If some person is frustrated, if this person wants to do something behind your back, you will find all sort of people. The world is full of people with full of characters, right? Good and bad, right? So you will find it as a leaders. You have to work with them. You won't get everyone super duper, right? You're going to get someone who is short tempered. You're going to get someone who is going to do something bad, who wants to pull you down. All these things is going to happen. I mean, you will find all these types of people, but then a good leader is able to understand the signals of all these people and process that signal and do things what is best to still lead and create influence within the team. Walking the talk, right? Walk the talk. The third thing is, after processing the signal, calmly determine what exactly is going on. Analyze what exactly is going on. Then you see what you need to do. Then you evaluate what you have to do and can do. In some situations, whatever you can do is not going to make much of a difference. So you give it to time a little bit and then you come back. You can give it to time forever because the company is not going to keep paying you money, right? To continue. But if it is a personal thing, maybe you can give it to time. But in that work thing, you have to, at that time, maybe you can step out, but then you have to come back to it and solve the problem, because end of the day, leader have to solve the problem. So once you know what can be done and what has to be done, then you make the decision and act. And then make sure you calm everyone else down, and you do all these things as a team together. These are all some of the tips that I wanted you to remember. And why did I teach this? For exactly, Greg, you said you organized a meeting, people did not show up. So stay calm, even when your hair is on fire. Analyze what's happening, try to find solutions, and then bring the right people if the people that you have are not the right people, or help them to educate to become the right people. So if you are able to do this, you will never lose your team. You will be successful in your project, whatever that you're trying to do. Okay, So in our next session, what we are going to do is we are going to talk a little bit about concept phase. So I wanted you to, there's two exercises for you, right? The first exercise for you is go back and identify in a given company how much of the money is being spent on different business operation functions. And let me know in the next meeting. And then the second one that I wanted also you to do is go just read this slide. This is the concept phase slide. I will explain in the next session. But if you read this slide and try to answer some of these questions, that means you will probably complete your concept phase. You are all in the concept phase right now. Maybe you have some idea you picked which is already there in Testoper, or maybe you are trying to do your own idea, whatever. Maybe you have 30 ideas, whatever. Right? Just read this one and I will explain in our next session, benefit of time, right? But my second assignment is read this read this slide and then think about, have you actually done this in the concept phase? So if you believe that you have done all these things and you have decided go or no go, that means you have completed the concept phase and you are moving on to the next phase, which is the feasibility phase. Now, what I wanted you to do is, as an assignment, go through this and understand and convince yourself, have you really crossed the concept phase or not? If not, try to plan a list of things that you need to do to cross this concept phase. And we will talk more about it in our next week Friday meeting. I will stop here. Any questions, please?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Looking at this, if you can go back to the slide. Yeah, this one. Looking at this, do we need to start planning for financials now? I think that is really high level, right?
Yeah, you can, that's what I said, right? It depends on do you want it to build this like a company? Do you want to build it like, so depending upon where you are and what you wanted to do, I'll train you guys, right? But to be very honest, I will not talk details on finance. I will not talk details on marketing, go to market, sales, and I will not talk about it in detail, because I know that most of you all are focused on product. So I will revolve around those things that are very important to build the product. But I will touch upon other areas as applicable. So what you need to do here is at least, right? So I think concept phase. I will update this one. Okay. So yeah, just go through this offline. I kind of started working on it, but I think I have not updated fully. I'll update it now in the next 5 minutes and I will post it. Read through this and try to understand whatever that you are able to understand. If you have some questions, we'll talk about it in our next meeting in the first 30 minutes. Okay. So to answer your question is, if you believe there are some items is not applicable for you, don't do it. As simple as that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. So we are 8 minutes over time. Anyone else have any questions? Yeah.
Yes, Kadir, I need some help. I remember last week when I asked you, you told me if I open Teams, I will be able to see the shared document and everything. But there is some problem. If I log in into Team, it just reboot my Team app. It restart my Team app. So that's a real big problem. So yes, so I want to become member of a team too, and I need some help. Maybe if you want to talk to me offline, or I don't know, what's your...
Yeah, so we can debug and fix your problem, right? So in the WhatsApp, you can reach out to Shad or Nikki. They are the operations volunteers in the call. They are also in the call. You can reach out to them. They will schedule a session with you, common time when you're available. Maybe through the Skype, they can look at your screen and see what exactly is going on.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, let's close this. I like to finish it on time, right? I'm sure you all have plans and long weekends. And we do have session tomorrow. Remember to join, whoever wants to. I'm pretty sure every one of you are also joining that cloud computing. If you are not joining, please feel free to join tomorrow. The session is at 10 a.m. Go to the Eventbrite and register yourself and join. And I'm looking forward to see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Even I will join because I'm learning from Partha a lot. See you guys. Have a great evening, a wonderful long weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Karan.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
If you
Bye,
want to reach
everyone.
me, you all know how to reach me. Take care. Bye-bye.